desk at his appointments office. We're gonna pass these letters around here now during the meeting, and we're gonna ask that anybody that wants to sign it, please go ahead. If you want to add notes to it, do that. If you want to add names to it, like Scott Barrington's, you can do that. And I'm collecting them at the end of the night. We will FedEx them tomorrow morning. They'll be on the stuff by Friday. So if you didn't get a chance last week, no worries. Same letter, we just changed the date to tonight, and we'll take care of that. If you'd rather do your own, it's already published on Manatee Patriots. We will give you an envelope and a stamp. All you have to do is print it, change it, it's a Word document, make it your own, make it personal, but mail it. Because the only way he's gonna know that we want to elect our officials and not get them appointed is to let him know. He has gotta hear our voice. And that's that.
Good deal. Thank you, Sally. Dr. Malcolm.
Good evening, Patriots. You've got 3 pieces of paper on each of your tables. One is the John Birch Society. We need new members. That's my phone number below my name. So if you're willing to undergo a little bit of more of patriotism, you join the John Birches, because that's essentially the problem in America. They've been violating the Constitution, all 3 branches, for at least 50 to 100 years. Number 2, you will see on your desk or your table the Only Florida Action. And I did make a mistake on that. On the bottom right-hand side, you will see "Be silent and you agree." That is not to this article right here. It's if you don't speak up, and this is what this paper is all about. We must have our voices known. So make those calls to the Florida congressmen and senators. And that's the only numbers that are on the bottom. Number 3, I will be on the radio tomorrow on 1490 at 8:30 in the morning. So if you want to hear a very interesting program, because Phil Dan, D-A-N-N, he's manager of this radio station in Bradenton. I can hardly pick it up in Osprey, but it goes mainly toward Tampa. But it's a conservative radio station, and I like it very much like Salem radio. The final thing about Twyla Braze, she will be first here at my hospital, my church in Sarasota, and it's Covenant Life on Monday, the 19th. She will be here next week on Tuesdays, right here. We usually have 100, 120 people to hear her, because you should know that Donald Trump appointed 10 people to cure or ameliorate Obamacare. She was one of them. The rest were DOs and MDs, and she's an RN, but she's very well qualified. So if you can come to hear her talk about the side effects of the COVID shot, along with Tanzan Wassenaar, that will be time well spent. But if you can't, you make sure you come here next Tuesday. Thank you. Okay, we've got a lady next.
Everybody, thanks for being here. It's nice to see a full room. I just want to give you some encouragement. Sometimes, we have a lot of bad news, so I want to send a little encouragement, so you can take it home to your family and friends. I heard a good one today. Said the scariest thing you will ever hear is, we're here to help and we're here from the government. Tell that to your wonderful friends. And then a comedian was saying the other day, it was mask off in the beginning of all this isolation. Mask on, mask off, no mask on, no mask off. 2 weeks, only just 2 weeks. When it was just, a year, just a year. So, oh, now they say with the vaccine, trust it. I love that. If you take it or not, it just has to be a choice. It should be freedom of choice. And there's things you can take to take the lead out. So even at this speech next Monday, hopefully she'll talk about that. And the last one. Actually, that was it. Thank you.
if you haven't got an opportunity to listen to it, the grand jury for the state of Florida that Governor DeSantis called does have their preliminary findings out on the COVID and the vaccination. And I would suggest you go online and listen to that. Very good.
Hi everybody, I'm Mark Stanigan. I'm running for school board in District 1. And I have some good news, bad news, and good news.
Okay.
That's better. Good news. Over the last 6 weeks, through the efforts of a wonderful bunch of volunteers, we've now collected enough signatures on a candidate petition. We're only 150 away, and we're going to qualify. So I want to give a big shout out to all of our help here from Manatee Patriots. Thank you. Now the bad news is that we've been doing this over the last couple of Saturdays. The weather forecast for this Saturday looks pretty grim, with rain forecasted at about 91%. So it looks like we're going to have to cancel this Saturday's candidate petition drive. However, the other good news is that Monday is a national holiday. And when the kids are home and there's no Super Bowl, where are the parents on Monday? They're going to be home. So we're moving our candidate petition drive, and the weather looks pretty good for Monday, by the way, from Saturday to next Monday. So we'll put a little blurb in the newsletter for all those who want to lend a hand. We figure that with 1 or 2 more sessions of door knocking, we're going to be at our 150 goal again, so that we qualify. We're still going to push to about 1,000, so that we get out the message as much as possible. So watch for it. If you're interested in helping out, we start at noon. We conclude around 4 o'clock, and there's always a great homemade cuisine at the end, isn't there, John? Okay, everybody, thanks so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Hi, this is a quick message, everybody. I'm Kathy Pinkless, but I want you all to please call your congressman about the media. Nothing's going to work as long as this dumbo population is listening to CNN, MSNBC, and everything. But the main thing is NPR gets $600 million a year of our taxpayers' money. You need to call the congressman and say, defund NPR right now. It's only a Democrat mouthpiece. They completely say things like the Russia collusion line. We have the evidence against them. They agreed with Hillary. They have her on. Okay, so please, everybody, call your congressman and demand that they do something about the media. And I think we need to maybe have a bill where we fine them or per lie, and they have to not only retract but put it on the front page, twice as long, the retraction. We've got to make them pay. The New York Times, all of them. You've got to do this with the congressman, everybody, because there's so many people that I talk to, they sound like Joy Reid, from MSNBC. They're idiots. Okay, so we've got to do this. You've got to enlighten the less gifted. Okay. Thank you.
Follow that up, big boy.
For the record, Legibolina, I tried to educate the ungifted today at the BOCC. It just didn't work, honest to God. So you know my little rant about the homeless vets. It's getting cold out. We still have 80 to 86 homeless vets every night. So I went there today again and said, they stole $1.4 million, put it back, and let's address this problem like adults. And I said, don't tell me, tell the 80 vets that are homeless tonight. What are you going to do for them today or tonight? And you know what their answer was? That was it? Okay. But I will tell you, they did find $4 million of taxpayers' money for a conceptual design for a veterans memorial. All right? Kevin Wright wrote a letter. I entered it into the record, it's a bad location, they're not ready yet, all the right things. I had a couple other letters from some vets to say exactly what Kevin was wanting to do. Andrea was there today, my co-gadfly there, thank you. So was Carol Phelps, so, you know, we're still prodding them a little bit. But it's unconscionable that they just find not only the $4 million, it was $1.5 million more than they asked for, than they needed. How do you do that? Right? The design was $2.5 million. I'll take 4 in case you need it. How about taking that $1.5 million and putting roofs over our homeless vets? I don't get this board. I really don't. They have not addressed the issue. They won't address the issue. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But for the record, Glenn, Gadfly.
Glenn, I do have one question.
Yes.
Is the first name
Fly.
just together? Okay.
It's a political antagonist that forces the political party to do right things.
Okay.
What era is that from? I want to ask what era that is from.
What?
The era that Gadfly is from.
Socrates.
Which is, how old are you?
We've discovered something new. Do you need
No, but I'm not dead.
Don't even
I
speak
wasn't
in
5 years old
language.
in New York.
Good evening, great Americans. You know, I'm pursuing a higher degree in kind of philosophy and history and stuff like that, and I was reading through the philosophy book the other day, and it was talking about Socrates, and right next to it had kind of the lineage, like the grandson of Socrates, and Glenn's picture was
I
right
know.
I go way back.
I want to bring something to your attention, something I've learned about as I've been on the school board now for a year, and that's the fact that we have a really good technical college here in Manatee County. And the more that I look at it and the more that I go to it, if you have people, you know, and especially younger adults and people coming out of high school, and you think, you know, college isn't really going to be the thing for them, and especially if they're thinking about going and getting one of those gender or race study degrees, you don't want them to do that. But we have 52 different programs over at MTC, Manatee Technical College, everything from, you know, the sheriffs are actually starting out now at $65,000 a year. Wow. You know, you can graduate from high school, go get your law enforcement degree, $65,000 right out of school. Firefighting, all kinds of metallurgy, manufacturing, machine operations, cosmetology. So I just want to bring that to your attention. And also, I'll try and bring it to your attention next time, but they actually have open houses. So if you want to go look at the facilities that we have over there, poke around fire trucks and stuff like that, I'll bring that to your attention too. So think about that. If you have young people or even adults that are kind of struggling in life, you know, maybe they're working at 7-Eleven thinking, I want to do something different. We have some opportunities at Manatee Technical College, and there are a lot of different scholarships and stuff, opportunities for people that maybe don't have a lot of financial resources. So, just bringing that to your attention. I think I'll stay under my 2 minutes. By finishing with, may the Lord bless and keep us. May He make His face to shine upon us and bring us prosperity and peace. God bless us. And God bless this greatest country on God's green earth, the United States of America. Amen. Thanks for your time.
All right, sir, Kevin, you want that? You're just gonna belt it out.
I'm good. Just 2 things tonight, folks. Kevin, I'm chairman of the Manatee County Republican Caucus and an at-large director of the state Republican Liberty Caucus of Florida. So I'll first talk about that. A week from Thursday, our monthly meeting at Mean Deans right here. I've got flyers on the tables there. By this weekend, it'll come out both in the Liberty Caucus newsletter as well as the Manatee Patriots newsletter. You don't have to RSVP, but if you want to be eligible to win, like we had a lucky winner last month, to win what will now be a 50-50 raffle prize, you have to do that. And if you want to assure that you get your menu choice, you should RSVP. But we don't turn anybody away. Just show up. A week from Thursday, though, we've got a great crew. We got Bob White, who many of you are familiar with, the chairman of the Republican Liberty Caucus of Florida, will be leading off with us. Scott Barrington, who spoke to this group right here, who is seeking an appointment by the governor to replace his boss after the 1st of March. But he's also on the ballot to run to take his place by a choice by we the people as well. We have another fellow speaking that should Dr. McCann, who was our speaker last month at Mean Deans, by the way, and he's the featured speaker tonight, should he be successful in the primary in August, The fellow that he'll be facing in November is a guy named Joe DiBartolomeo. And he will be speaking. We do have a couple NPAs. So we can't endorse NPAs, we endorse Republicans only, but we do hear from them to give all voters a choice. So he'll be speaking with us next Thursday. And none other than Mark Stenick will be speaking with us a week. This is looking ahead, but since they've already confirmed that they'll be there, on the fourth Thursday of next month in March, the legislative session will have been completed by a couple of weeks unless the governor or somebody calls him back. They will be back here home. And our three state representatives, Will Robinson, Tommy Gregory, and Michael Beltran, who's got a little corner of our county, will all be on a board. And we're going to do what we've done in the past. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about what came out of this current legislative session. There's a lot of good, and some of the good is not getting to where it needs to be in session right now. Today's the first time that I did about 3 or 4 emails to legislators today, and one of the first bad came up right there. It's one of those things that looks really good, but it's really bad because it's got intended, and because it's all in the words. And what it's saying is it's flying through both legislatures, and Republicans are out of this, and it's saying that it's saying that it is to stop harassment of people at the polling place. Baloney. Does it not define what that is? And if you volunteer as a poll worker, or if you're just a citizen and you see something wrong, it will prevent you from saying anything about it. That's wrong. If they would change the words and make it define it in precise terms what that means, it would be okay, but they haven't. So we're writing and emailing the governor, the Senate President, the House, everybody to say, hey, you guys are on a train wreck right now. We got to stop this. That's the first bad one that we've had to speak up about. The last thing I want to do, and this is very much I want to talk about, is the very last thing, because it's this Saturday. It's very much related to the Dakin Farm, which was well attended by a lot of Manatee Patriots right there, which was about the preserving. In fact, I posted, Tommy Gregory made a great comment on it. He was there. George Cruz and Tommy Gregory were 2 of our elected representatives that were there. We had some candidates that often show up here that were there. Not too many other elected officials showed up that though. Tommy was there and he wrote about it and the importance of it. But this Saturday is the start of a 4-day trek on horseback by the Cracker Trail Association, which is very much involved in the topic that was talked about there, about preserving that art history and other things like that. And they're also going to honor veterans, but they're going to kick it off with a short stint right along SR 64, Manatee Avenue, the length of that. So it's like at 9 a.m. So if you want to park out somewhere along SR 64, my friend John Steen, 105-year-old War II vet, will be riding the lead wagon. He'll be up there. I'll be trailing right behind him. They'll be honoring veterans and all that, and honoring history and a want to preserve the state of Florida. Be there Saturday morning. I think it's early enough that we'll be putting the raindrops on what Mark had planned. All right, that's all I got.
Good deal. By the way, something else we didn't mention that's up there right now, they're looking at, they've got legislation that says county commissioners can run for 8 years, and all of a sudden, magically, 12 years appeared on the legislation. So we also want to notify them about that. I was busy today getting in touch with my legislator, and but that's and particularly the one on. I'm going to be a poll. Who's going to be a poll worker in here? Okay, who's going to be a poll watcher? Okay, good. It's key legislation. Again, it basically says that you can't harass poll workers, but it doesn't tell you what you got to do to harass them. And I mean, it might be that just your ex-wife or something could that's harassment, but that should be against the law. Yes, ma'am.
The numbers are HB 721 and SB 562, and I've got the information right here if anybody needs it.
All right.
Yeah,
Get busy.
one comment on that. That's item number 2 on your sheet that you have in front of you.
That's right.
With an example, if you wear a MAGA hat, you can be fined, lose your job, and go into jail that day. That's how evil this governor has become, because he will sign it.
DeSantis?
That's not good. Not good.
Well, we're gonna ask him not to. So, Phil Dan, the radio man, do you need a microphone?
Everybody can hear me, right?
Can you hear us? Everybody hear Phil? You in the back? Y'all hear Phil? Phil, say something.
Right, sadly, you can hear my voice.
Okay.
So, hey, I am the conservative voice of the South Coast on WWPR, People's Radio, and 1490 AM, you can hear me from 8 to 9 in the morning. And we have a special guest tomorrow between 8:30 and 9, and that is our own Malcolm Williamson. We'll be talking about the China virus and the shot and its disastrous. I had to look that up on how to say that. Didn't do too well. And the side effects. And there's going to be an event at the Covenant Church, Covenant Life Church, 8490 Macintosh Road. I don't know if this got announced. We're going to be talking about this tomorrow and Thursday, so if you want to listen in, get a little bit, and also a little bit more of Malcolm's perspectives on things, which are definitely worth listening to. So I don't want to bore you with this, I guess you've already done that. I did want to congratulate the San Francisco 49ers. For showing up, I guess, and losing again. So my team, of course, I predicted a glorious win. I was wrong. And it's nice to see that Rich's haircut is working out well. That's right. Just trying to bring people up on something. And something that was brought up, homelessness amongst the veterans. I represent a company, a credit card services company, point of sale, not POS, that every percentage of when you swipe the card, we screw you out of some of your money and the merchant, but we're giving some of that back to the veterans in the way of addiction recovery programs. And to this company, as it's called Talus Bank, believe it or not, they're out of Dallas, Talus out of Dallas. Get a hold of me. Most of you have my card. If you want to look into that, if you're starting a business, or if you have a business and you want to switch over and do something good with the money that we're screwing you out of. It is, it is what it is, they have us over. They get it, they get you, the card holders, right? And they rip you off, and then they rip the merchants off. There's a whole other way of ripping you off as well, but I'll get into that another day. We have another great program that just started again with us. It's called The Heat Is On, and this is where you can pick up some free gifts. This young lady, believe it or not, she comes down from Orlando every Saturday between 2 and 4, and she gives away a lot of great stuff on the air, and you just have to be like the 4th or 5th caller. We can't go much further than that, so we won't waste your time. Everything from gift certificates to restaurants to movie tickets, bottles of wine, not the cheap stuff that I used to drink. And that's it for me. We're having a great time down at the radio station. I'm taking a little bit larger of a role. If anybody's crazy enough to run for office, I'll be glad to have you on the radio. If you're an author and you've written a book and you want to promote that, I'll be glad to do that with you. Just give me a chance to read it, or at least get a look at it, so I don't look like a complete idiot that I generally am when it comes to these matters. So anyway, thanks for your time, and tune in between 8 and 9, 1490 AM.
Phil, I want to mention that you were a little bit redundant, but that's how we learn.
Leaving that alone. Some of us.
This is Dean Mixon for those of you who don't know. I just wanted to thank everybody for the prayers for the last 4 weeks. Come on, see now, so I'm glad to be back up and doing things after 4 weeks of watching daytime TV. Believe me, it's not worth it. But I just wanted to again thank everybody for the prayers, and also let you know, how'd you like this parking lot out here? It wasn't our choice. The insurance company said you're gonna pave the thing, you're gonna keep open. So anyway, we complied with that,
And also, our food truck's gonna be here again tomorrow. So hopefully everybody will come out. I saw a lot of you last week. And, okay, did I get my checklist? 11 to 4 for the food truck. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What do I want to do? You act like I wanted to do something. Okay, I want to do that. That's what I wanted to do. All righty, before I introduce our speaker tonight, I want to go over just a couple of items that sometimes we forget. Anybody out here ever forget anything? Liars. After our speakers speak, we usually have Q&A. Everybody know what Q&A means? What does it mean?
Explain it for the what for me? I'm confused.
It means standing ovation for the speaker.
You know, you never know. That's how language is. It changes when you least expect it. Q means questions that you will ask the speaker, and A means answer, which the speaker will return to your question. Now, anybody know what's missing? Bloviating. There is no B in Q&A. If you've got a question, shouldn't take you more than a couple of sentences to let the answerer know and understand what it is you're going to ask. And also, let's try and keep it like one major main question per person. Now, a lot of times I know you guys are doing like Sudoku and stuff like that while people are speaking. You need to listen because a lot of times somebody asks the question that you were going to ask, but you don't know that because you were entertaining yourself at some other venue. So pay attention. That way you might not have to get up and ask the same question twice. And if you have a question, make it a good one. You know, in depth, lots of thought. Just don't go on and on and on and on and on like I'm doing right now. I thought you would enjoy that. You're that kind of crowd. All right, tonight we have with us Bob McCann. Some of you have met Bob before. Some of you have seen and heard him before. Bob's a native of Chicago, but he's been down here long enough that I don't hold that against him. He's an Irish Roman Catholic, which is a special kind.
Oh, the worst. The worst.
He's the second of 4 sons, so he's had sibling rivalry. He attended Annunciata Catholic Grammar School, graduated from George Washington High School in the Chicago public system. 1975, Dr. McCann joined the United States Navy. I was going to sing Anchors Away, and then I felt you wouldn't appreciate it. At any rate, he also received an honorable discharge from the Navy in '79, attended college on an Illinois Veterans Scholarship and the GI Bill. Dr. McCann is married to Rosemary McCann. He's lived in Manatee County, District 5 for 18 years. He's a devoted public servant, a physician, a lawyer, a business executive, an educator, and a proud U.S. Navy veteran. Please give him a warm Manatee Patriots welcome. And you've got a choice. If you're a walker, you can use the mic. If you're not a walker, you can use the mic.
You'll find that humility is my best suit. How many people had trouble with traffic coming here today? I figured I'd ask that first. You know, being from the north, we came down here and we brought some good stuff with us. You know, we brought rush hour, road rage, pothole, and lots of traffic. In the traffic today,
you know, I started out on Saturday, so I get here on time. The thing is that, you know, we're gonna invent something down here to try to get rid of that traffic. We're gonna invent the thing where we put a little stick outside the steering wheel. You press it down and it blinks on the left side. You press it up, it blinks on the right side. And then we're gonna know what you're doing. What we have now is not enough infrastructure for what we have building. We're overbuilding, we have urban sprawl. The roads themselves, we now put roundabouts in. And I did get here in the roundabout way today, there were two on the way here. Okay, the reason for those roundabouts are they're circular. That way you won't see the line, and we can keep building past it. So, gotta excuse my jokes, I'm kind of a jokester. What is a patriot?
Us.
No, it's a guy in the NFC that plays in the AFC. Actually, it's a guided missile. And it's an intercept. And it hits another missile so that it won't hurt the people. That's the kind of patriot I'm gonna need when they start slinging out those mailers with all those attack ads on them. And everybody that's running for office against the commissioner here is gonna get those attack ads. So what I wanna do right now is I wanna challenge each of the commissioners. No attack ads for anybody. You know, they should be able to tell their consultant that they can say anything they want. But they shouldn't put it in writing in an attack ad coming because that's not what they said. And since they all have the same consultant, it shouldn't be hard to convey that message to them. Government is your friend. The thing you have to understand is you have inalienable rights. Those are given you from God, not the government.
Amen.
When the government says they're your friend, they're not your friend. So what we need to do is we need to vote. And when we vote, the government can be your friend if you vote for public service, not for people that think they run you or need a job. Who's the smartest person in the room at a county commission meeting? I'll ask the gentleman today that was talking about the veterans. The smartest person in the room is the commissioner that comes in without his phone, doesn't look for a test, doesn't look at the time, lets the people talk, understands what they're saying, has a logical discourse, and looks for solutions, not for problems.
Right.
I'm a proud Navy veteran. Yes, I have my hat with me. I was a Navy corpsman from 1975 to 1979. It's okay to thank a vet. Thank him for your freedom because he served. But what we have to do in this county is not have any homeless veterans whatsoever. We had the Thomas the Tower project, which should have been a no-brainer, but it took forever to get it done. And that's just something we can't do. What I'm here about is, I think we need to have individual rights. We need to stop the urban sprawl. We need quiet enjoyment of our homes here. We're already homeowners. We're already residents. There is no law whatsoever that says everybody coming down here is entitled to a house. We need to protect our natural resources, including wetlands, agriculture, wildlife habitat, Florida's natural beauty and heritage.
Thank you.
Everyone needs boundaries. Now, I'm running for District 5, and only people from District 5 can vote for me. But my vote will affect every one of you. As Republicans, we want less government interference. We want local people to make decisions. I'm going to come out and say it. They need to leave the islands alone. I met with the mayor and the chief of police. They have plenty of parking on Holmes Beach. The idea that they want to build a parking lot there is just build, build, build. When they do build that parking lot, they want to go higher than 3 floors. They have an ordinance out there that says 3 floors is the highest you're supposed to go. Holmes Beach and Anna Marie Island are one of the 15 best places in the world to go. Why do we want to change that? The other thing about the smartest person in the room, besides not having a cell phone, he listens to advisory boards. But lately, you know, they're wondering, what's the value of advisory boards? Because the commissioners don't believe they need them because they already know everything. They forget to listen to the citizens' concerns. One of the things that happens in elections is they talk about the money and how much financial muscle you have. Well, what I want to show them in this election is that our votes are more important than their contributions. The other thing, I have a sign. I would show it to you, but obviously we're on video. It says, "Not for sale, don't ask." My political consultants are right here. What we need to do is we need to let people come and talk to us, no matter what district you're from. Tell us what's going on. Discuss the things on the agenda. And when you come to the county commission to talk, you need to be heard. You need people to pay attention. You need people to listen to you. We talk about affordable housing. Shouldn't all housing be affordable?
No.
Why are they talking about building affordable housing here? Is the housing they're building not affordable? One of the things that's happened, and I've talked to many people, and small businesses are going out of business because they can't afford the homeowners association fees, they can't afford the rent, and not only that, they're building right next door to them. We need to bring businesses in to this county. There is something else that's very important here. All the wetlands are just about gone. They took away the protections, and what they did when they did that is they moved people, you know, to certain divisions that they want to build. There's one right now called Aqua on the Bay. Okay? After they got rid of the wetlands protections, that builder went to the state and said, "Can we move just a little bit more?" So what we're going to have to do is call that Aqua in the Bay. What we need is a reformed and responsive commission. And the only way we're going to do that is to vote and vote the people out. I have two opponents in this election coming up. I don't know if they'll both stay around. Kevin Wright named one of them. I am not going to name any names because my disclaimer is I want to protect the guilty or innocent. You choose. But the two people running in my district, there's a primary opponent and a secondary opponent. Okay, the primary opponent is all for building. It comes from the building commission, and they all talk about smart building, smart growth. I don't know what that is, so I looked it up today. It's a compact building design, opt for efficient land use and minimal sprawl. It's a preserved, open space, farmland, natural beauty, and critical environment areas. Protect green spaces. Strengthen and develop direct development towards existing communities. Revitalize urban areas. Community and stakeholder collaboration in development decisions. Involve residents in shaping their neighborhood. Does that sound like what we're doing? So that's the smart growth. On February 8th, they put two more people on the Manatee Planning Commission. Manatee Planning Commission is the practice squad for the Manatee Commission. You start out there, that's where the builders put you so you can get some experience. On that commission, the article here doesn't make decisions, but it's the first board to review land use, many of which are located in East County. So the commissioners were picked for East County. That's my district. That's the one I'm running for. The two commissioners that are on there, one of them said, smart growth. East County residents fill a majority of the seats on the board. You know, there's no representation on that board for District 1, Myakka City, and none from the islands. Now, how does that board represent Manatee County? But again, they're gonna move up to the next. And it says right here, there are no representatives from the island or Myakka on the board. The seats are divided up by district, and the only requirement is to be a registered voter living in Manatee County. You don't need any type of experience to be on that board, but they look for planning, engineering, environmental science, and development industry. Well, there is nobody from environmental science. What I'm looking at is we need to reform the commission. We need to go back to Republican values. We need to have individual rights, okay? We need to have quiet enjoyment of our homes. We need less government interference, not more. We need citizens making decisions, not politicians. Because what's happening now is the people that are in the commission all have the same treasurer, they all have the same consultant, they all get the same marching orders, and they vote in blocks. Be some intelligence. Now they talk about, and I'm going to age here a little bit. They talk about. My primary opponent says this is a very. They're going to build housing on Lena Road. Before they do that, though, they have to do a sound study because it's built right on 75. The other side is a landfill.
Wow.
How I Met Your Mother. There was a place called Dowistruppi. Okay, it was in the 7th episode of the 3rd season. Lily and Marshall wanted to get away from Ted, who was bothering them too much, so they went to this area called Dowistruppi. They asked the person there that was driving a taxi, what is this bad smell? And they said, you're Dowistruppian. And they said, well, what does that mean? Downwind sewage treatment. So we're going to do this affordable housing that my primary opponent is proud of on a landfill. Okay? What are we going to call that? A Lena luxury landfill? To me, that's not affordable housing. What we need is lower taxes, lower fees. We have CBDs in this area. CBDs were made to pass the cost of building the community from the builder onto the people that live in the community, the homeowners. That's not fair. Okay? Once the bond is paid, those things should sunset. They don't. They live in perpetuity. Now, my second opponent is on the board for the CBD at Terra. The CBD is there, according to him, and what he said, for the infrastructure, and to make sure that the roads are good, and to make sure that all the functional activities and all of the building is done properly. They have a homeowners association there too that does exactly the same thing. You know, in Florida, we have a lot of fees. So who we should vote for? Counties. We have a website at Let Bob McCann. There's a prescription on there for Manatee County. I'm a doctor, I can write a prescription. I'm going to go ahead and open up the questions and answers. Yes.
We don't know where the mic is, so you gotta speak it out.
This one works, so here.
I don't have a problem doing that, Jeff. Here, see, no, that's all right, Bob, we do it here now.
I happen to live in your district, East County, Lakewood Ranch. What would be your plan to stop or to control development east of the FDAP, future development area boundary, where the commissioners have already approved 12,000 houses east of the boundary line, and where FDOT has said that we can't handle the infrastructure, and where SwiftMud, which is Southwest Florida Water Management District, has said that there's not enough water if they build, that the solution in Manatee County, so we know how they the pipe, that SwiftMud has not enough water. So how would you address all the development east of the FDAP?
We're supposed to have a comprehensive plan. That comprehensive plan has been amended so many times, there is no plan. What we need to do is we need to sit down and we need to look at the comprehensive plan again, which is in process for rewrite. We need to look at the feasibility of putting something out there. FDOT says you can't do it. The one thing my opponent did say before that I heard was that he didn't feel the builders were connecting to the roads properly. He didn't feel the sewage was connected properly. He didn't feel that the water pipes were connected properly. So the county was going to take that over so that it would be better for future generations. What he didn't say is who was going to pay for it. What we need to do is when we draw a line, because that line says you can't build past that, we should not build past that. So I think what we need to do is we really need to look at the whole plan again and say either you have a plan or you don't. When I was a kid, we had a thing called a coloring book. The reason you had a coloring book was to learn how to stay within the lines.
Oh.
So I guess what we need to do, you know, the thing that happened was if you colored outside the lines, then your mother came over, showed you how to make that bigger a little bit so that it would look like it was part of the picture. That's the reason for the roundabouts on the streets. If we keep you looking at a circle, you'll never look at a line. Yes?
I got a mic. There you go.
Dr. McCann, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you at meetings, but it's for the sake of the people here who did not hear your answer that night. So this
They should have been there. They would have heard.
Yep, that's right. Same question. I'm going to ask it, but it's for the audience that's here. So if you are elected to the Board of County Commissioners, you will presumably be the only sitting physician on that board. And how would you go about guiding the other commissioners should another pandemic come to our area?
Again, what I said first was individual rights. People have a right to make their own decision on what's going on. There should be no government mandates. There should be no government interference in telling you how to live. So you will make your own individual decision as to what that is. You know, back when I was a dinosaur, okay, I worked fee for service. I've been a doctor for 36 years. Okay, when they brought in managed care, it went from paternal doctor-patient relationship where the doctor would say, you do this, and you just did it, you know. It was kind of like, you know, take this and skip an hour, you know, and then they get the jump rope out, skip an hour. But the thing is that now it's consumer-driven. You have a choice. We didn't even have DNRs back then. You know, we saved everybody we possibly could, whether it was futile or not. Now, you have a choice. No one has the right to take that choice away from you. So you make your decision as to what's good for you during the pandemic.
So mask mandates? How would you handle the mask mandates?
No mandates.
I got a mic. Wait, what's the mic? There you go, sir. Okay. So your predecessor, the previous commissioner from your district, said that impact fees were a way to spread the cost to all the existing citizens of the county, taxpayer county. What is your position on impact fees?
Builders pay impact fees 100%. Anytime you're gonna build something, you should have the money in order to do that ahead of time. But, you know, again, I went to the Dakin Dairy, I was out there, okay? And I did learn something there. You don't put the cart before the horse. So, when we hear all of this about infrastructure, why not put the infrastructure in before you build a community? That would make sense. Impact fees, unfortunately, they had a study done in 2014. What they did was they decided that they were going to collect 100% of the impact fees because they were only collecting 90%. And my primary opponent said, let's not kick the can down the road. Let's vote now and make it 100%. But they did that at a 2014 rate, which means that you're only paying 40% of what today's costs are. They didn't take inflation or anything else into consideration when they did that. They had another assessment done, they ignored it. Okay, what needs to be done is a current assessment, and they need to pay 100% of the impact fees during an assessment, and stop passing everything on to the taxpayer or the homeowner.
Doctor, I appreciate what you said, but I want to add a couple comments, because the virus that's coming was initiated in Geneva, Switzerland as the catastrophic contagion 6 months ago. 2 weeks ago, it changed its name to Virus X. So that will be one of the topics that I am, as the moderator, am going to ask Twyla, who, as you know, knows a lot of doctors very well and sat on Trump's board, and Dr. Rosenwasser. That will be one of the questions. The next question is, what if you've had the vaccine? Is there a treatment of that? And the answer is yes. Number one, your diet. Number two, they have various protocols. And we, the people, doctors down in Venice, they are all non-vaccinated like I am and all my family, except for one who went to, well, the truth hurts. It hurts because I'm a physician. I've got a son that's a physician.
I have a question for him, Tom.
Oh, I do. Well, the question was, I just wanted to make a comment on your answer. I thought it was very good, but we're going to have more discussion on that at the thing on next Tuesday, Monday night at my church down in Sarasota. So continue on.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question. If we're talking about voting by blocks, then the issue really is, we're hearing a lot of talk, but we have a lot of frustration amongst the public, amongst the voters, about what you call transparency and the notion of various platforms that are eschewed behind closed doors, but which we know very little about. We have this problem of language. The wordsmiths on the left have for decades perfected the science of saying what they want to say in misdirected language so as to make it appear one way and function another. Is there a process by which the board can simply come out with a monthly statement as to these are the functions that we are discussing, these are the things that we voted on for various reasons, and get the board to disclose, much like the Supreme Court would give independent opinions? We'd like to hear more about what the nitty-gritty is and be able to vote on some of those things, to put them on platform positions that at any given time we establish election date and go after this topic that you would be directed to perform. Yes, no?
Actually, what you're saying is the sunshine law. Everything is supposed to be discussed in the sunshine so everybody knows what's going on. And the thing is that there shouldn't be any behind closed doors. There shouldn't be any deals cut in the back room. Now, we know that all happens. But the thing is that, you know, the sunshine law says that you're not supposed to be doing that. What we need to do is we need to work with the commission and get people on there that are public servants instead of politicians.
That's not satisfactory. Because it's easy to say that's what we want to do, but we need to have some people who have got a fire under their ass that says, let's get to know exactly what's happening on these specific sites of geography and make it a referendum for the public. and put it before the commission to say, yes, forget the sunshine law, that's just a convenience factor. If you want to be a revolutionary, if you want to have revolutionary results, you got to stand up. You got to have skin in the game. So, can you be an advocate of that? I don't want you ending up, if you get elected, to be a chink off the block, you know? I'd like you to have...
I know exactly what you're saying, and that's not gonna be a problem. I am very vocal. And the thing is, you know, sometimes I mispronounce words. You know, such as, when I first came here, there was a ranch over by my house. It was called Schrader Manatee. Okay? It was run by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay? Who now has changed the name of it to Shredder Manatee. So the thing is that when you take a look at everything that's really going on here, and you're looking at all the lands, you know, I have a lot more I could say about, you know, one, we need to talk to the people in District 1, and we need to preserve the wetlands. We need to preserve that cattle ranch. We need to preserve, you know, those dairies. It's very hard for them to work right now, as we learned, because they work very long hours for very low pay. If there was something we could do to increase that pay, that would be great, but I don't know that that can be done just at the county level. I would like to see those wetlands stay, because obviously, you know, anybody who took a drink of water today should thank the farmer. Okay? Anybody that ate any meat today should thank a cattle rancher. Anybody that had any cheese should thank a dairy farmer. The thing is that those farms are very expensive to run, as we learned out at the Dakin Dairy. And a lot of people don't want to do the work now and take over the farm. And that's a shame, because this was a very big agricultural area. We were known for, you know, cattle ranches and dairies and citrus farms. And, you know, I mean, take a look at the Mixon farm here. You know, this is something that has been here for 85 years. And yet, the county didn't value it enough to buy it. So I think there's a lot of things out there that we really need to take a look at. And, you know, can I promise you that I'm going to vote according to what the constituents say? The answer is yes. Can I promise you that I'm going to jump up and you know, howl at the moon? The answer is no. But what I will do is I will keep you fully informed, as it's your job to keep me fully informed. One of the things I want to tell you about Patriots. Yeah, I made the joke about the NFL. I did that because we have a gentleman that's here with a Kansas City hat on. Okay? I made a joke about the intercept, but it's not really a joke. What you need to do is take those attack ads and ignore them, throw them away, forget they even exist. But what a real patriot is exactly what's here. People that come out and vote, people that understand the Constitution, people that come in and say, I want to help my community. And that's exactly the type of patriot that we have to have. Yes, the patriots protect us. They stand up and they talk up, just like he did at the commission today. The difference is going to be when you elect the commission. And I can't do it alone. I will tell you that we need to throw all the bums out. Okay? Because we need to have a majority of that commission so that we could really make a difference.
Next question, back to you.
I'm from District 5 also, and I heard recently from a realtor that says that there is a group of Russian investors that are buying up dairy farms and other kinds of farms here. So that is a concern. But I also wanted to tell you, I spoke about it last meeting, we were successful at keeping the going from R1 to R3. They put that for 18th Avenue East. There's like 80 acres, and they wanted to put lots and lots of houses there. Would be, if you figure 3 cars per house, 750 more cars. So we were lucky. We pulled together and went to the county commission, and we won. So we want to encourage everybody that's in a similar situation to look at what we accomplished and work at it. Somebody else that I know said, oh, well, you'll never succeed, but we did. So we have to stick together, and we have to do that. And I do have a friend that's running for Mayaca District 1 and she would be very good. And it's Carol Bilberry. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay. I have a mic if you have a question. You got a comment?
I do want to say with the Reform Commission, what we need to do is we need to have more local significance. We need to be able to keep government as local as possible and the decisions as local as possible. But the biggest thing we need to do is we need to have everyday, ordinary people making the decisions, not the commissioners.
Wetlands. What are wetlands? Take a look at Robinson Preserve. That's the best wetlands that we have. It's all natural. The kingbirds still fly there, the eagles still fly there. And then we have all the way over on the other side of Pamasola Bay, into Sarasota Bay. Anyway, they started taking down the wetlands several years ago. They put that valuable infrastructure in before they started putting the houses up. Now the place is bubbling with activity. There's all houses. It's California style housing too, because there's about 10 feet between each building. Not exactly low density at all. The
Question.
Go ahead.
No. Ask the question.
Yeah, okay. So how do we know when they're gonna start building or they get into the permit process to be able to build such a big, terrible, costly development?
Well, what has to happen is there's an agenda. And normally, and this is something that I do want to tell you, the Manatee County Planning Commission said no to the wetlands. Do not move them. They were there for over 30 years, and the county commission overruled it. One of the builders actually sued the county commission twice and lost, and decided after that it would be just better to buy the commission than it would be to try to sue it again.
Bob, am I allowed to ask you another one? Bob, you talked about ignoring the fancy, glossy attack ads. You talked about consultants and the rest of it. Will you, are you going to accept any PAC money or consultant money or developer money to help run a campaign that is pretty expensive to do?
Absolutely not. I can self-fund a campaign if I need to do that. That's not a problem. But as far as PAC money goes, I do not do any quid pro quo work. I don't let anyone else think for me. I don't let anyone else tell me exactly how things are supposed to be. The people are the ones that are the power in the government, not the special interest, not the money. That's not what it's all about. This is a Tea Party group. There was a former Tea Party member. I want to read something to you real quick. The amount of money raised was not supposed to be the huge determining factor. Our election process has been corrupted from the presidential level all the way to local candidates. Why do you need that much money? And why do you need people to collect all that money from the rich, the powerful, the connected, the influential? It should come strictly from the people. I'll accept donations from an individual, but I really frown upon having businesses donate all the money expecting something in return, which is what they do. If people do not pay attention to politics, which is the way we govern ourselves, the powerful will take over and individual liberties will be lost. The Founding Fathers envisioned citizens becoming legislators, not career politicians. I believe the Republican Party has drifted from traditional Republican values: fiscal restraint and responsibility, limited government, personal responsibility, ensuring individual liberty. It's too much about the money and the power and privilege, and less about individual freedom. A true enterprise system, not favoring companies through legislation, is what we need to restore and stop cronyism and corporate welfare. Who said that? That was Steve Vernon in an article when he was running that was written by Jessica Salmon at 6 a.m., August 11th, 2015 in the East County Observer. what it comes down to, no, I'm not gonna take any money from the builders, any money from the PACs. My primary opponent doesn't see a conflict of interest in rezoning land, allowing the builder who told them to rezone the land to build on it, and then he's a real estate broker that sells the house. To me, that's a conflict of interest. Just follow the line, follow the money. My whole campaign is built on our votes must be louder than the campaign contributions. Commissioners should be accountable to us, not the highest bidder. My website again is electbobmccann.com. Let's redevelop and reform the county commission. The other thing is, I don't want you to disappoint my mother. On my website, you're going to see a picture of me standing in front of St. Michael's Cathedral on 83rd Street in South Chicago. I'm 2 years old. I'm wearing a suit and a derby. My mother wrote on the back of that picture, future doctor, lawyer, or mayor. Only time will tell. We're going to substitute mayor with commissioner. Let's make my mother right. Yes.
I may have missed part of your bio, but I was just wondering how long you've lived in Manatee County, and if you've ever held any other political offices, or is this your first time?
This will be the first one I held. I did run for another political office against Greg Stubbe in 2010, and I will tell you that he had a good platform. And his platform, first of all, he's a congressman now. He has a degree in animal science and agriculture. His whole platform, I was talking about, a pending opiate crisis. I was talking about federal issues during that time. All politics is local. Local affects national. This is a people first campaign. His platform was a three-pronged stool. He talked about we needed jobs. Okay? He said we needed high-paying jobs. We needed to bring small businesses to town because those are the backbone of the county. The second prong he talked about was an education prong. The third prong he talked about was agriculture, and he said there was a comprehensive plan for East Manatee County, and that comprehensive plan would be for 20 years. Okay? That plan has changed so much, it's just unbelievable. His platform at that time should be the platform right now. We should be protecting East County. We should not be overbuilding East County. We already have a traffic problem, as everybody has identified coming here tonight. It took me 55 minutes to come here from the River Club tonight. Okay? 55 minutes. I left my house at 20 after 4 to come here. And I was surprised. My GPS took me down the street, and I found 2 roundabouts on the way here. Okay? I don't have a chalkboard, or I would write it for you. But, it's simple geometry. It's a circle. You only need to drive straight through it. That straight line through that, through that circle means no more roundabouts. We really need to stop that. We have agriculture coming from, out in the East County now. And when they come to over here to Tropicana, I can't wait to see that orange truck come through those roundabouts. The other thing that I say all the time, and I try to be funny again, is I'd like to put 2 roundabouts together. I want to see who gets stuck in a figure 8.
Anybody else? Anybody else? You got a question? Okay, there you go.
Hi, Dr. McCann. Today in my email, I got a public notice from the county that they're going to have on the 27th of February, they're going to be looking at the laws regarding phosphate mining in our county. What do you know and what can you share about your position about phosphate mining out east in Manatee County?
That's a good piney point. And the governor has said that we should put that phosphate into roads. That way we won't have to put up any streetlights because they'll glow in the dark. The truth is that I think phosphate mining is something that is very detrimental. You know, the other day we talked to Dick and Derry about a desalination plant because there's not going to be enough water here. Okay? The desalination plant is a great idea too, except for one thing. What do you do with the waste? Where does it go? Where do you put it? Okay? I talked with the chief of police and the mayor down in Holmes Beach. They have bacteria in the water down there that is no longer being filtered by a natural reservoir. To answer the gentleman's point back there, you know, you have these God-given wetlands. What makes you think a man-made artificial wetland is going to be anywhere near as good? The other thing is, they rebuilt the filtration plant. They had all 7 commissioners out there drinking the first drink of water out of that plant. They said it tasted really good. Some of them didn't like it when I said, did it taste as good as the Kool-Aid?
I've got a quick question. I used to work at an environmental learning center in Oregon. And and I lived in Berkeley, went to Berkeley.
We won't hold that against us.
You're more than welcome to. I learned a lot there. And never forget, just a little side note, Noam Chomsky, who works at MIT, who is a devout communist, is also a linguist. Leader of the Democrat Party, really, in the far, far left. So that's what you're really up against, Noam Chomsky, when it comes to the language, and controlling the language. He's brilliant, as much as he is evil. As far as the left is concerned, when it comes to environmental issues, they've got some good ideas. And I'm not trying to be flippant about it, but there are, what would you call those fields that they've created, the wetlands that they've created to reclaim and wastewater? I can't remember what that's called. But they have those functioning. They're actually natural wastewater treatment plants, if you will, that they've created up in Northern California. I don't see why we can't do something like that down here. I'm all for preserving the wetlands and open space as much as we can. And my question is this: if you're not going to go out and raise the money from businesses, because there are plenty of businesses in the business community, I work with them every day, that are concerned about the environment, they're concerned about the things that you've spoken about here today, especially veterans homelessness. I dare say that you have an opportunity to go out there, knock on those doors, press the flesh, and you'll be able to raise some money if you put your shoulder to the wheel, if you will. And for those of you who are just, you know, negative about businesses giving money to candidates, well, you better go out and figure out something else on how to raise money, because Florida is one of the hardest places to run when it comes to the big money, especially now with the development going on, all the people moving here, because they're fleeing up north. They're fleeing. I mean, I'm one of them. Got the hell out of there because it's so dangerous to live up there. I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. If somebody had broken into your house and you shot them, you go to jail. Yeah, Massachusetts, you have to beg the local authority on whether or not you can have a gun, even though you have a Second Amendment. Pepper spray is outlawed. So my question to you is, I don't know, I really like your Catholic background, being a suffering Catholic. What do you think your chances are?
One, I think our chances are great. We're going to win. Two, I will tell you, I'm not a suffering Catholic. I'm a practicing Catholic. My parish is Our Lady of the Angels, and I'm also a member of the Knights of Columbus. Okay? I have other credentials, but this campaign isn't about me. This campaign is about you. Okay? A vote for me is a vote for you. If you want to go by credentials, we can talk about Republican credentials, because obviously that's going to come up in one of these podcasts. I'm a member of the Republican National Lawyers Association. Okay? That is the poll watchers and the legal are to make sure that the election integrity is there. I'm a member of the Federalist Society. Okay? I have many credentials that you don't see. I'm a life member of the NRA, lifetime member of the NRA. I'm a former police officer. I'm a former paramedic. I've done community service before. And it's all about service. It's not about me. And that's why I'm not here. You know, if you want to see credentials, go to my website. You'll love what you see. In 2010, when I was running, they questioned a lot of my credentials, so I actually put the diplomas and the certificates out. Okay, I've been a doctor for 36 years. I've been a lawyer for 24 years. I'm a member of the Florida Bar. I'm a member of the 11th Circuit. I'm a member of the DC Bar. I'm a member of the Middle District of Florida, and I'm a member of the U.S. Supreme Court. As a doctor, I'm board certified in family practice, residency trained, and I have 36 years of medical practice. I have a clean national practitioner database, no malpractice history. My secondary opponent talked about disaster support. I'm a national disaster life support instructor. But again, this campaign isn't about me. I'm not worried about my education. I'm not worried about the things I have. What I'm worried about is how can I serve you and stop what's happening now. Getting back to the wetlands, getting back to those farms over there that are being ignored on the Planning Commission. It's a quality of life issue. Getting rid of those wetlands causes increased air pollution by forcing us to rely more on cars and drive longer distances for a longer amount of time. How many people believe that? They're consuming more. They're destroying farms and they're destroying wildlife habitats. Last night, I had a coyote sleep outside my lanai. Okay? So they're coming to ours. My wife loves the deer as they run by. It's a wonderful thing, but it's not a wonderful thing when the coyote's chasing them. We have bobcats. We have raccoons. When the coyote or the bobcat kills the raccoon, we have turkey vultures come in and actually clean it up, which is exactly what it's supposed to be. But I thought I lived in Bradenton, Florida. I didn't know I lived in Doctari. One of the things we're building is a lot of communities out there. And in those communities, we have a lot of amenities. We have health clubs right there. You could stay home. The community is self-serving. It's a perfect community for everybody. It reduces social cohesion by creating isolated and matching communities. And that's what's happening now. It worsens public health. It increases obesity, stress, and traffic accidents. Let's talk about insurance. I've been with State Farm Auto Insurance since I was 16 years old. I hit my 50-year anniversary and they rewarded me by doubling my premium and saying, you live in Florida. There's more people going down there. There's more traffic. You're putting in roundabouts. There's more accidents. There's more serious accidents. There's more deaths. I said, yeah, but I don't have any tickets. I don't have any accidents. Why is my insurance going up? And they said, welcome to Florida. The other thing we have is we're lowering the efficiency and effectiveness of public services because the way we're building these things, we have to do U-turns and we have to put emergency vehicles through roundabouts to get into these communities so that they can take care of people. And then when they want to take you back to the hospital, they get to go through the roundabout again. We have a roundabout over by us in Cooper Creek. It's coming out of a shopping center. It's coming out of a road where there's a community, and it's coming out of a hotel area and a health club. Roundabouts, which they never taught me how to drive because we didn't have them when I was learning how to drive. It's supposed to be, you yield to the person on the left, one car goes, then this car goes, then this car goes. You know, what it is, it's a U-turn, a U-turn, a U-turn, a U-turn, and never my turn. They even have a roundabout over in Sarasota where they have put traffic lights in it. That makes a lot of sense. The good thing about these roundabouts is they did a study. And in many, many years, they'll be more cost effective than a stop sign or a traffic light. By that time, we'll have flying cars. What we have is urban sprawl. And that urban sprawl that we have is unplanned growth. And every time they see a blade of grass, our joke, they're going to build on it. So I guess they're going to put all the grass cutters out of business. When we get rid of these wetlands, you know, we got challenges providing water. Where are we getting our water from now? Okay? A lot of our water is actually coming from Peace River and we're buying it now. It's going to be more expensive. Taxes are going to go up. You know, we have trouble with electricity. We have trouble with transportation. And we have trouble with health care. All because we can't get there because of the urban sprawl. So what we need is not smart growth. What we need is to stop the growth. Get a plan going. Let the people in the community here determine what needs to be built. Yes, people do have a right to have a home after they own it, the property rights attached. Until then, the only right they've got is to acquire a home. I have statutes on that from Florida, plus U.S. Constitution, the 4th and 5th Amendments say that, you know, limited government interference and quiet enjoyment of your home. Okay? And the thing is, there is nothing out there that imputes that to say, okay, since you have those rights, you know, we can now give the rights to the builders to build the homes and build more and more and more and more because you may come in our neighborhood right now. Homes can be acquired and building. Waterleaf community is a very nice community. It's in my district. They just built another community next to it. It's 4 inches higher than Waterleaf. Where do you think the water runoff is going to go? One of the builders couldn't be here today because he's in court down in Venice, Florida, because he wants to build a shopping mall. And they're trying to stop the people from rezoning improperly in order to build that shopping mall. But, you know, Venice is going to be a very nice place because, again, they got rid of a lot of the wetlands and they're doing a lot of the same things over there in Sarasota County. Pretty soon it's going to be just like Venice, Italy. One hurricane comes through, there's going to be waters in the street and gondolas going through. So you won't have to travel anymore. It'll be right here. We need to stop all of this sprawl because if we don't do that, we're going to lose our community. I've been coming down to Florida since I was 12 years old. My aunt lived in Miami. North Miami at that time, you drove, you saw Fort Lauderdale. You drove from Fort Lauderdale to Boca Raton. You drove from Boca Raton down to West Palm Beach. Everything else was free oceanfront. There was no Delray Beach. There was no Pompano Beach. There was none of that. Do we really want another South Beach over here? You got a West Palm Beach on the East Coast. So I don't know what we're going to call ourselves. We can't call ourselves East Palm Beach over here once we put up those high rises. You know, and the biggest joke that, you know, I make was I called up my doctor and I said, wow, you know, they're building all these high-rise apartments and they're building them right off the street. I mean, there is 5 feet of sidewalk and that's it. You know, you could drive into these things. And I said, they want to put me on one on the top floor. I told him I'm scared of heights. I can't be up there. And he said to me, oh, don't worry about it. You just got an apartment complex. Yes.
I got a question. Since this is a loud microphone, A lot of our economy depends on building, because that's where the money changes hands. And so it's a big part of what we do. If we slow that down, what is your idea to bring additional cash stream, so to speak, to this area as far as business goes? What other businesses do you see that would help to take the place of construction?
He was just about to ask the same question.
Really?
Yes. That's what he said. He was about to ask.
I'm glad I got it first.
What we need to do is we need to bring more small businesses in here. We need to bring more entrepreneurs in here. You know, there's a tech industry out there that wants to move to Florida. Jeff Bezos is moving to Florida. You know, you just had people from Chicago moving to Florida. We have a lot of businesses coming to Florida. We need to attract those businesses here. You know, we have some business parks already set up. But one of the things that we don't have here right now is we don't have enough health care. We need to bring more health care here. Okay? Right now, if you want to see a doctor, how many weeks is it?
Months.
By then, you should be well.
Months.
Or not, correct. There are a lot of things that we can do down here besides just building houses. Okay? Right now, we don't have infrastructure. That needs to be rebuilt. Okay? So there is still going to be some building going on. What we need to do is I'm not saying we don't need to stop building altogether. I'm saying we need to stop rezoning things that shouldn't be built on.
So my question is, you know, if we had a moratorium tomorrow, just said, we're not issuing any more permits, and counties in Florida have done that and have been very successful, we would continue to thrive as a county from that point forward. Our neighborhood Publixes would still be in business, the Walgreens, the restaurants, all in the same area, would be fueled by the residents in that community. And that's the way it should be. And then you'd see people in the workforce housing that could actually afford to live in those communities. If we had a moratorium right now and just said no more, our county, we would be okay. And I will tell you, as a general contractor that builds houses, we have 30, 40 different trades, people come in there, several trades, they can't afford to live there. They're not happy driving out 2 hours each way, right? So the people that are building the houses can't afford to live there. But I will tell you, you take that same tradesman in a local community, and if he wanted to be a plumber to fix pipes, he would make a very good living right in the community he lives. If he was a roofer, he would make a very good living right in the community he lives. All these roofs, they have expiration dates. Pipes, plumbing, all those trades could be reappropriated into our community instead of building the cookie cutter houses. Can't afford to live there, starting at $435,000.
Don't forget tourism. We have beautiful islands out there that would bring in tourism, would bring in money. Okay, and if we have those, if we leave those alone, if we leave the wetlands there, if we leave the mangroves there, and we leave the local rule there, that'll bring in a lot of money to the area also. Because tourism is big down here. You know, again, another joke. Up north, the leaves are changing. Down here, the license plates are changing. Okay, so the thing is that people will stop coming here if you just build a concrete jungle with urban sprawl.
That's a good thing. Maybe we should build more. Suffering.
You got a question? No, I just have a mic. Anybody?
We're getting down to the part of the program where, first of all, I want to thank you for coming, Bob. This has been all right?
I want to thank you for letting me come here because, again, true patriots are what's going to make the difference here. It's your vote that counts. It's on August 20th, the primary. If you want to vote early, I can spell it for you. Bob, B-O-B, and it's the same backwards.
Bob has also got some petitions. If you live in his district,
I'm sure he would absolutely appreciate you signing his petition, and don't forget the date. Remember that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you again. All righty. I don't need to turn